So let me get this straight. You're telling me that in the future, there's going to be ships on the river that I can get on?
And there'll be big rooms with beds, actual beds, and big windows that open, so I can lay back and look at the countryside as we mosey on down the river from place to place.
And it's not jammed full of people, so there's plenty of space. And then, when I stop, I can choose the way I explore. I can do anything I want to do, not what I have to do. Seriously, this is going to be a thing.
Hello and welcome. I'm Rose Kelly, your host.
And I'm Peter Lynch, Editor-in-Chief of cruisepassenger.com.au and Cruise and Travel Luxury Magazine.
I've got to say, Peter, that was a very interesting start to the show.
No wonder that poor Viking sounded incredulous, but seriously, it is a thing.
It is a thing. Now, this show is devoted exclusively to a form of travel that involves passing through beautiful cities and towns and villages, enjoying the sights, tasting the cuisine, and experiencing the culture of the places that you visit.
We call it the world's most relaxing holiday because you can see as many as 5 countries without catching a flight, jumping on a coach, or packing or unpacking.
I love that. In fact, your boutique hotel of only around 150 guests, it all comes with you.
I'm sure you've guessed. We're talking about river cruising, one of the fastest growing sectors in travel.
And it is officially a thing.
Love your enthusiasm, Rose. Many river cruise companies have come very close to selling out completely in their 2025 bookings. Some cruise lines are around 90% full right now. And the push for what's called shoulder season bookings has been so successful that they've extended the cruise season to almost year round.
I knew shoulders were going to be big
Yes.
again, Peter. I knew it. Now, last year we ran a campaign for a group of leading river cruise lines called the River Cruise Collective, and it was enormously popular.
That could be why they're selling out this season, don't you think, Rose?
I think it's likely to be the case. We reached over 3 million Australians with the message, you see the world differently on a river cruise.
And that's true, Rose, especially in Europe, the most popular river cruising destination. While ocean cruising companies are worried about overcrowding, river cruise lines can take you right to the heart of cities, and because their vessels only take around 150 passengers, they are much easier to accommodate.
So no queuing for tenders to take you ashore. I hate queuing. And you are already ashore as soon as you stop.
Interestingly, one of the world's most successful ocean cruise lines, Royal Caribbean-owned Celebrity, is now announcing that it will be launching 10 river ships.
Just 10 new ones. And
To start.
destinations are also expanding. Armour Waterways has just launched on the Magdalena River in Colombia. Abercrombie and Kent is sailing in Peru. And Portugal has become the new hotspot with new ships from Armour Waterways and APT.
You'll be hearing much more of that. The Mekong, Ganges, Nile, South Africa and Latin America are all seeing more lines offering fresh itineraries with some fascinating side excursions.
And that's the other big trend, Peter. You've mentioned it there. More excursions and extensions that can turn a single cruise into an entire adventure.
And there have been some really interesting changes in guests. The average age of a river cruiser has come down, more activities on ships.
I love it. You can kayak, hike, ride bikes to the next town and meet your ship there, take wellness courses. It is a whole new world.
And of course, you are right there in the centre of things, so you can visit produce markets, cooking schools, art galleries and museums.
And you can wine and dine on shore and jump on the ship afterwards, or experience the local produce and visiting the vintners on the ship itself.
Most of the lines are all inclusive, so you won't have to worry about a thing.
And one last thing, there is a marvellous intimacy about river cruising. Because there are fewer and mainly like-minded guests with you, You get to know people and you form those friendships really very quickly. It's one of my favourite things about
I
it.
really love it too. Yes, that's a great benefit. Traveling with like-minded people is one of the most important aspects of small ship cruising.
Now, today we are going to be speaking with each of the cruise lines involved in the 2025 River Cruise Collective campaign. We have Armour Waterways, Avalon Waterways, Abercrombie and Kent, APT and Tauck.
Each of these lines has something special to talk about.
Our first guest may or may not be joining us with a party hat on, as Tauck Luxury River Cruises and Tours is in fact celebrating 100 years this year. That's a pretty big deal.
That's a big deal. Wow. Jerry Pilgrim is Tauck's National Accounts Manager. Welcome, Jerry.
Hello.
G'day, Jerry.
Lovely to be here.
First up, happy 100-year anniversary. Yes. I guess that's a busy start to the year so far.
It doesn't pretty big century.
Doesn't get much bigger than that.
Yeah, it's been incredible. We were very fortunate. Tauck flew all its staff, 750, to Florence, Italy, at the beginning of February.
Where was our invite?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, it got lost in the post. check the spam folder. But no, they flew 750 staff. That's all the tour directors from around the world who run over 150 trips for us every year across 70 countries, and all the staff in all their offices around the world. So we get to Florence. They've booked out every 5-star hotel for 5 days in Florence. We had an extraordinarily long firework display along the river on the gala dinner on the final night. It went on longer than, say, New Year's in Sydney. It was just fabulous. And we all marched through streets under arches of 17th century reenactment actors and actresses in Doge palaces. It was off the hook.
Unbelievable.
And was there a cake with 100 candles on it?
Oh, there was everything. Even the CEO and the directors, who are sort of known for sort of kind of like leaving around about 11 or midnight. Nothing nice happens after midnight. They were all there until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
What a party.
Wonderful.
Well, it sounds like, you know, over 100 years, you guys have had plenty of time to become a global leader. So, you know, in the premium guided journey sphere. So tell us a bit more about that and what Tauck is known for today.
It's an interesting brand, an interesting idea. It's 100 years old. And when you're 100 years old, you don't really have to spend more time trying to find customers. It's all about improving the actual quality of the brand. It's a bit like Rolls-Royce or Bentley. You don't see them marketing too much at you. You know, it almost seems a little bit crass. You just know that there is this good quality. And it's mainly because of the high care and all inclusions that Tauck actually offer. And we're going to talk about river cruising today. And yeah, we're now running 40 itineraries on the rivers of Europe with 11 ships. And we started sort of that concept, well, the idea first started in 1993. We were the first, and then it sort of really took off in about 2000. And here we are today.
Amazing. Now, you've got, talking of Tauck's all-inclusions, because that's a very important part of the offering, you've carried out a very interesting experiment recently on a Tauck river cruise on the Danube to demonstrate that Tauck really is all-inclusive. Can you tell us about that?
I love it that you've remembered this story, Peter. I think you heard it a couple of years ago.
He
when
loves
I was
good
at a conference
stories.
somewhere. It was Virtuoso. That's right. But what I like to do, if somebody says it's all-inclusive, I've been in the tourism industry for over 30 years now, and you're always sort of a little bit wary about all-inclusive. There's always caveats. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put my wallet away, leave that in the cabin. I am going to experience this 12-day trip. I was on the Danube. It was Budapest to Prague. So there's 7 days on the ship. There's 5 days off. We're staying in hotels as premium hotels in Prague and Budapest. There's excursions every day, et cetera, et cetera. I will leave my wallet in the cabin. Risky, I know. And I'll put a €50 note in my pocket and I sign it. I actually sign my name across it. Put it in the pocket, and I think, am I going to spend this anywhere when they say it's all inclusive? I've now done four river cruises. Yeah, I've just come back from the Douro in Portugal.
Lovely.
We took many travel agents from Australia, 45 of them with their partners onto the Douro. It was
Wow.
terrific. But I did the same experiment again, and I didn't spend it.
That's
It's
unbelievable.
all the
Well,
drinks on board. If I want a cocktail, espresso
so
Not
martinis, I
even
tried
to
one.
tip.
so the truth.
Gratuities are
So
included.
Jerry, the
Yep.
truth is,
Yep.
Tauck is either genuinely or inclusive, or you're a tight one. I'll
Yeah,
go.
I
true.
wasn't going to say that. Peter, you said that.
I'll go with.
I am half
Oh,
Scottish. I am
I'll
half
go.
Scottish.
Aussies are known for
I'll
that.
go with Tauck's all
Yeah.
inclusive.
Oh dear, can't take you anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Don't answer that
I
one,
invented
Jerry.
copper wire by fighting over a penny. Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask, look, river cruising in general has had this upsurge recently, which is sensational. But Tauck has definitely experienced that. So why do you think that's happening?
Definitely river cruising has come of age. My past history was adventure travel. It was all, I was known for teaching people about how to do Everest Base Camp or go to Peru or Inca Trails or Mongolia or extreme stuff that you trained for and
Wow.
the rest of it. And because I was outside the river cruising industry, I perceived river cruising to be something passive, something slow, something that wasn't very immersive. It was going to be gentle. It wasn't going to be challenging, and all the rest of it. And I was blown away. My first river trip was actually on the Danube, and I've got one of these smartwatches that counts how many steps I do a day. I was doing 20,000 steps a day. I was like,
Wow.
What?
I wasn't expecting this. And there was a 12-day trip, and there was 6 days that there were options for bicycles or hikes or walks or, yes, some of the clientele go, whoa, is this too much? So we grade our trips. There's an easier, medium, and a hard. You can choose what you want to do. There's 3
Yeah.
excursions a
I've
day. You
seen that.
break off into
Yeah.
groups. Off you go. So you can choose. If you want to do art and culture or a cookery class, you can go do that. But if you want to be, if you're of a personality that needs to be exercised in the morning,
It's
then
Peter. Yeah.
which I am, and then the rest of the day will
Me
take
too.
care of itself.
Yeah.
That's the way we do it.
And you could
But
mix that up on a daily
yeah,
basis
yeah.
too, couldn't you? You don't have to stick to one theme for the whole cruise. You could be active one day and then a little more chilled out the next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do give those options because everything's all included, all the excursions. There's none of this pickiness like, oh, you've booked this excursion 3 months ago before you departed online on an app or something, and that's it. You're fixed. You can't change unless there's a financial upgrade. It's like, no, you can actually chop and change as your
Wonderful.
energy levels. So
And I think.
sorry, looping back to why I think it's grown. I think people are starting to see that it's a smart way to get around Europe to
Yeah.
do this.
Especially today, when you think about those hotel prices, you think about the all inclusions on a Tauck cruise. You're traveling from country to country, and we've actually done some really, really interesting research. I think the last time we did Budapest to Amsterdam in a car versus on a river cruise, you save $26,000 when you take the river cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
numbers don't lie.
They don't.
It's incredible.
And actually, it's pretty easy to work out. It's all on our website, cruisepassenger.com.au. We laid it out, both journeys, and it just shows you. But one of the major strengths of Tauck, I think, is that peace of mind and confidence that everybody gets, that everything is indeed being taken care of by experts. And I think that's really important. And it's reflected, I think, in your enormous repeat rate.
Okay. As I said, the company's over 100 years old, so you would have a very firm client base. This is probably a reason why we don't advertise so much, because the actual figure is around about 55, 56 repeat rate. Now, if I
Wow.
was a travel agent or a travel advisor, if I'm getting a repeat rate of 56% off of a client, that is like an annuity. Every 1 to
Yeah.
2 years, we've got some
Yeah.
clients booking 2 or 3 trips a year. We've even got clients out there that have done 40 or 50 trips, which is incredible. But that means there's an income stream with very few complaints. The clients are delighted. They're self-selling. And what's even more wonderful is they're referring to their friends. They're coming back to Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, wherever in the world, and they're telling their friends, you must travel on this. We were so well looked after. Everything was included. There wasn't many people on the ships. You know, they don't overpack them. There's plenty of space, great cabins. So we got a 30% referral rate. So
Wow.
really new
Wow.
customers. It's only
It's
about 10 or
fantastic.
15% is new to Tauck.
The other cruise
Um,
lines must be so envious of you guys in that department. That's pretty impressive.
And we're talking about
Thank you.
We're talking about Australians, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that means that really Tauck, I know it's 100 years, but Tauck actually came to Australia not 100 years ago, and it's managed to be that impressive to the Australian audience that it's created that enormous word of mouth through the community. That's really
Aussies
stunning.
can be very loyal.
Well, that's true.
So,
That's true.
Jerry, I know that obviously Tauck prides itself on that all-inclusive element and not doing things like deals and trying to, like, you know, grab the audience in and being very understated, not doing all the self-promotion. But if I had to drag it out of you, what are some of the things that Tauck is very excited to be announcing, you know, perhaps this year or next year coming up? What would you brag about if you had to?
Oh, quickly, personally, I love it that we don't actually do deals. I don't have to sort of um, deal with issues and problems such as a client has booked something 6 months ago and then seen it online for 20 or
Oh, yeah.
30 or
Yeah.
40%
Yep.
cheaper, which kicks the legs away from the travel agent client trust, because that deal is out there and now this Australian client feels sort of ripped off in a way,
Yeah.
and it can't
Yeah.
be fixed. And so that's we don't have that. So everybody on board pays exactly the same price. Nobody's going to come on board and say, "Oh, I got it for cheaper," and disturb somebody's peace of mind that way. But what's coming down the pipeline, which we're excited about, because demand is so high for our ships, availability is always a question. So we're introducing 2 new ships next year,
Ooh.
which is
Wow.
a big deal.
Yep.
It's in France. Do you want to come along?
Yep.
We'll
We'll be there.
Over here, over here.
Yeah, 2 new ships.
One each.
I love a
Yeah,
christening.
yeah.
Deal.
Yeah, okay. I'll put you down for a maybe from that physical reaction. I can
I
tell.
don't think he heard us very well. That was a yes.
Yeah.
What are they going to look like? I mean, obviously still
Okay.
staying with that bespoke, small, intimate luxury feel.
Our ships are all identical on the interior. Research has shown that clients like to know precisely what they're going to get every time when they actually travel with a company, with a brand. It's the same look and feel across the entire fleet. What I really, really like about the ships is I'm a bit of a look. The data doesn't lie. Ships in Europe, because of the locks, because of the water heights, the bridges, and all the rest of it, you're talking 135 meters in length in the European canal systems, and round about sort of 80 to 90 meters in length when you're out on the Douro. So everybody's got this size. So, and the widths are around about 11 meters. Now on board though, there is this is where the real devil is in the detail.
Of course.
How many passengers are on board? Now most
Yeah.
ships are all going to have like 40, 50 crew on board. And if you're putting 200 guests on there, you are stressing the staff. From March through to November, you are going to stress the staff at those sort of ratios. So an average Tauck departure, we put in the brochures that if we maxed out, we did every triple, if we did a quad or anything like that, then you got 130 packs on board, passengers, guests.
Yes.
In reality, we have 104.
Right.
There's
Really?
104
Okay.
between
That's
around about
with
46 to
breathing
50
space. I
staff.
love that.
It's
So that's
plenty of
almost
space.
1 to 2 staff members.
Great staff ratios.
Yeah.
The
That's
staff
awesome.
aren't actually having to hassle or haggle for tips or gratuities or upgrades on excursions or drinks packages or anything like that, because it's all
And-
included. So it's more relationship based.
In
Yeah.
terms of design for the ship as well, that means that, you know, the cabins can actually have that extra space, and you guys offer some of the largest cabins in the industry, and, you know, 12 cabins per ship. So, you know, that also means you can do something special with the solo market. Is that right?
Yeah, just drilling down into some of the detail, what it actually really means is about having less people, less customers, guests on a ship. Then you're going to actually have a lot more choice of large suites.
Mm.
Well, I find that agents say, yeah, some of these ships that are out there, yes, they got wonderful suites, but there's only about 4 of them or
Yeah.
6 of them.
Yeah.
These new ships, there's going to be 22
Wow.
large size suites, and they're
Wow.
300 square feet. So that in metric terms, it's like 29 square meters. So that's big. 22 of them on these new ships. But I find the exciting thing when I'm talking to audiences, there is an actual visceral ripple in the room when I start talking about solo travel.
Okay.
You just suddenly, like meerkats, the heads lift up and go, what? Solos? Because we don't charge a single supplement. And single supplement
I love it.
is the bane of the travel industry, and it really needs examining, really looking at. It's massively increasing
Yeah.
solo travel. And so when you've got these new ships, and there's going to be 12 cabins that do not attract a single supplement
Wow.
that solos can go into, it's a game changer. It's really is.
It really
People
is. You're,
Well, I know-
you're
rapidly-
embracing where
I know
things
Rose
are
is-
naturally going. That's
Rose
me.
is going to love it because
Meerkat response
that
right
is
there.
absolutely her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well,
Jerry,
think about 2 ladies traveling, 2 solo, because we found
Yes.
that particularly in the senior market,
Yeah.
you might have a couple with differing ideas about where they wish to travel or what they want to see and do. So 2 ladies could go traveling and actually book 2 of these cabins, so they don't have to share.
So, look, thank you so much, Jerry. That's terrific. We really look forward to talking to you again. And of course, we really look forward to seeing you on those ships.
In France in
'cause,
2026.
Rose and I will be on
1H.
to our travel
2026.
agents.
It's
We'll be
locked
booking
in.
our flights.
And Jerry, you've described everything so beautifully today. So thank you for your time and your energy. And for anyone who wants to know more, you can head to tauck.com.au. That's TAUCK. And thank you again, Jerry. We look forward to partying with you more throughout the year.
Thanks again.
We'll be chilling the champagne with Mo.
See you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Jerry.